Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday! This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 3, episode 60, titled Round 2 Begins, all powered by Nova Product Design on the Primetime Radio Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Short Sky and Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal. Beer Baron is on assignment tonight. He literally procrastinated, had all summer and knew when stuff started and realized it starts tomorrow. So right now, Beer Baron is on assignment right now. We're just covering him. But we just wanted to put it out there because we try to be a transparent Let's Go Devils podcast, the most commented Devils podcast in the history of New Jersey Devils podcast. We are live right now in my temporary Primetime Radio studios here somewhere in New Jersey, which is the ground is broken. The shovels are out. We are building a brand new facility because all the copycatters out there, out in cyberspace, are doing this. But we decided to build a huge studio with friends and family all piling in. Short Sky, Scotty, I'm monopolizing the time right now. How are you, my friends?
I'm doing good, Sam. I will though stick up for my fellow professional educator that is Beer Baron. It's going to be a wild time in the next 2 weeks for all of us, so I will stick up for him there. But yeah, doing well. Round 2 starts. Round 1, I was just looking at my numbers. I know we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but I was about 50% with my first round predictions, so not quite passing at all, but hey, better than nothing. Scotty, how you doing?
Mm-hmm. Doing good over here. Does not surprise me to hear that Beer Baron is waiting to the last moment to do something. I never heard of him doing anything like that before in my life. Never. But we miss him. I'm sure he's probably listening now as he's working. But yeah, man, doing good. Missing that live morning hockey. I've been spoiled. I know I've been texting you guys out here in LA.
Oh, yeah.
You know, these playoff games are starting 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Like, I'm getting up and getting ready to start working. And I just pop on my TV and I got playoff hockey going on right behind me all day long. So I got a little spoiled, and all of a sudden, some of these series are over, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Why is there no playoff hockey starting right now? So it was a little bit of a shock value moving into the second round, but I got to say, now that I was picking with more of my head than my heart, like we were doing in the round robin, I'm looking pretty good in our bracket challenge over here. Although we do have, and I know you guys are not going to be happy about this. Number one right now is It's Pork Roll. It's Pork Roll is leading the pack. Who is that our man David Decker? I can't tell who it is.
It could very well
it's
be.
Pork Roll. If you're on the Facebook Live right now, and anyone out there who's on the Facebook Live who was in our bracket challenge league, let me know what your actual name is over here. But yeah, It's Pork Roll is in first place. I got two wrong, and the two I got wrong, St. Louis, I thought they would wake up. I thought they would come back.
I got that wrong too.
And then, man, let me tell you, Matthew Tkachuk is a real valuable piece, because when he went down, it seemed like the Flames just went out. You know, bad pun intended, right there. You know, they just went out. They went out, and the Stars just steamrolled them. Although it was kind of ironic that, you know, on Dimebag Darrell's birthday, August the 20th, this Thursday, the Stars scored, 7 goals? I heard that Pantera goal song just, and I'm like, oh, there's Dime again on Dime Day. So it was kind of cool that they scored that many goals so we could hear Pantera that much, but I did not see that coming. Matthew Tkachuk, though, is really a spark plug for that team. And when he went down, that team just completely and you could see Dallas took off. It looked like they just gained more confidence, and they're going to be tough, man. Like that Colorado-Dallas series. I had Colorado and Vegas all the way, but whoo! What Sam was giving me a timeout signal. What's going on?
I just got a comment to the listeners and viewers who are watching live right now. Your microphone sounds so awesome that I felt the passion in your voice when you're talking about.
You felt my passion.
Yeah, the flames are flaming out and all this kind of like. Oh my God! You sound
all my bad puns. You heard the passion of my bad puns.
You know what? It's almost like you're on Sirius XM Liquid Metal with that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, just a little plug there. Carry on.
Well, it's Pork Roll. Did anyone answer? Who's It's Pork Roll? Do we know that? We got It's Pork Roll is in first place. The Manta Rays are in second. Devil Len is in 69. Ryan Connolly's got 66 points in fourth. And then I'm tied for fifth with two other people, Gary D. and then Krusty Partially. What is this?
Partially, is it the Krusty partially gelatinated non-dairy gum-based beverage?
That's it. Who is that?
That's a good question. I don't know who that is, but that's a Simpsons reference. That was.
I thought.
No, did you ever see the episode, the 21 short stories of Springfield?
I don't. You know what? I don't know. Like, I don't know the Simpsons as well as Beer Baron is like an encyclopedia on the Simpsons. I don't know them as well as I know like Seinfeld or South Park or It's Always Sunny. I'm more of a casual, I guess, Simpsons fan.
Yeah, me and the Hockey on Tap guys are all like big Simpsons heads, and I was hanging out with them last night, and a lot of our conversation winds up just veering into a Simpsons quote, and it's hysterical. And actually, a local a brewery down in Cape May Brewery down the shore. actually brewed a milkshake IPA, not gluten free, but a lactose free milkshake IPA that was called the partially gelatinated non-dairy gum-based beverage. It was actually pretty good. I have one. I still have one or I still have one or two in the fridge, and I Schwim from Hockey on Tap actually drank one on the podcast a couple weeks ago. So,
oh, awesome. Well, whoever this crusty, partially blah 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 beverage is, we're tied. Me and him are tied, or her, 60, and we both have the Vegas Knights going all the way. So. Where's Sam? Beer Baron is in seventh. Short Sky, where are you on here? Where's Sam Wu? Oh, Sam Wu. Woo. Sam Wu is way down
40
there.
Some points.
I'll tell you what.
40 some points.
The BJs screwed me badly.
Mm.
The BJs.
Who did you? Let's say you had. Oh boy. Oh, Sam Wu. Oh boy. So yeah, okay. The BJs. Well, you got the Isles and you got the Flyers, but you had the Canes. Oof. Boston woke up, man. Boston woke up. They were ones that really they talked that talk about just we're just kind of sleepwalking through the round robin, and everyone was just like, what's going on with Boston? And when the playoffs came, they turned it into full gear, and everything that would happen with Tuukka, like. Whatever, he went home. That's fine. I was not a fan of what he said in the press conference, but I don't disagree with him going home if it's for like family. What I didn't like was just what he said in the press conference, because I thought it just took a big kind of dump on the sport and everything that everybody was doing there, saying that the games are dull and not interesting when. Man, I've been loving this, and those guys in front of him are playing their heart out and diving in front of pucks, trying to block them, and so that's what I didn't like. If he has to go home for family, that's his right, and that's everybody's right. I got no problem with that. My only issue is like, why say that about the playoffs in the press conference? I don't know, but whatever.
He may just have been being just a little too free and open with what he was saying, but I think a couple days later it came out that I guess there was some issue with his daughter. No one specified what the issue was, but I guess his wife called him and said that their daughter was having some kind of a medical issue, and he just decided to up and go. Maybe he said those things about the playoffs just to kind of like make his decision easier. I don't know. I don't know why he said what he did, but it was a medical issue with his kids. And although I don't have kids, I can completely understand if you're separated from your wife and kids, and one of them has an issue. I gotta imagine you're gonna do all you can to get back there in time, as quickly as you can. So, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. And he's moved on, and the Boston Halak is. We talked about it last week. We don't have to get into it, but I mean, Halak has been fantastic. He's been so much fun to watch in goal. Anyway, great playoff performer. But why does this thing keep signing me out? I want to look at our brackets. Damn it! Sorry, the NHL app keeps signing me out here. But we got some leaders there, and it does seem like everyone's got some different picks. There's a couple Vegas Knights. There's a couple Avalanche. I see Sam Wu's got the Canucks going all the way. No Islanders.
That's bad for our draft.
Islanders.
I got the Islanders going all the way. I had the Islanders going all the way to the final and winning it against Colorado. But I'm kind of changing my picks for this coming round with that injury last night. I think Dallas is going to take this series. When you have to put an unproven goaltender into a playoff situation, you can get success, but I'm going to have to go with Dallas on that one.
There we go. Oh, yeah, Beer Baron's got the Bruins, Manta Rays, and Ryan Connolly got the Lightning going all the way. Who else? Benny has got the Flyers. Wow. Oh, we got another Andrew too. Also, we got two Flyers. Mike's going Canadians.
Well,
Well, hey, is it,
That
it
ship
was a
is-
good.
That ship has sailed.
It was a good hopeful. It's good hopeful. But
Yeah, good hopeful.
Very, very excited for these series. Who plays tonight? Then it's
It's Tampa
It's-
and Boston
Tampa,
currently,
Boston is-
and then
right. Tampa's up
it's
1-0.
going to be Tampa. Yes.
Boston. Boston.
No. Boston's up.
Boston's up.
I'm trying to like see my. I'm trying to see my TV screen. It's a little bit further away from me here. So yeah, that's on now, and then the late game is Vegas and Vancouver, which
Vegas and
that
Vancouver.
is- which that's coming with a little bit of controversy today. Did you see what Fleury's agent posted?
I did not. What happened?
Oh man! All right,
Describe it.
Yeah. So Fleury was obviously brought in as the face of the franchise for the Vegas Golden Knights, and he's done
Right.
very, very well to reinvent himself and to get his game back to where he was.
Mhm.
Right at the deadline, they acquired Robert Leonard to help out because Fleury did lose his father recently. He was going through some issues, so Robert Leonard was brought in as a backup and someone that they can rely on. Well, Pete DeBoer gave Leonard the start for the first round against Chicago because he played for them. He should know that team very well, which I can understand tactically. That's a smart move. So Leonard has been selected as the starter going forward in the playoffs now. So the face of the franchise is now the backup. So Marc-Andre Fleury's agent posts a picture on social media. It was either early this morning or late last night. It's a picture of it's a drawing of Fleury down making a save and looking down at the puck at the ice, and through Fleury's back is a sword that is made to look like the secondary logo on the Vegas shoulder. So this giant sword going through his back, there it is, bloody in the front.
It's very Braveheart.
And
very Braveheart.
And on the sword it says DeBoer. Yeah.
Oh, Pete. Woo. He's just making friends everywhere, isn't he? Wow.
I know. So that was this morning or last night. Marc-Andre Fleury came out earlier today and said that he requested his agent take that down and took the high road approach, and took, his comment basically was saying that, he's there to win. He's there with his team, that there's no issue. And whether or not he is feeling like he got stabbed in the back, that's something he'll never say, because he seems, for everything I've seen, that the type of player that's not going to go bad mouthing. But yeah, that was his agent's doing, and that was all over my goalie, the goalie groups I'm in on Facebook. They were that was a big topic of conversation about that.
Well, it's genius because he just said everything without having to say it. And now he looks like a good guy because he's telling his agent to take it down. I'm sure that was thought out beforehand, So it's a pretty genius play on his hand to do that. I'm sure his agent just didn't go out there and do that without talking to him about it. It's like, hey, I just got stabbed in the back. I'm a little pissed off. How can we say this but not really say this and make a distraction? Agent could go say it, and then you could tell me to take it down.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I want to go through that conversation, Scotty. It's like, hey, Mark, I kind of want to troll. Yeah. I want to kind of troll the internet to get everybody on your side. So just watch out. All right.
Yeah.
See ya.
I mean, hey, it is plays by agents and stuff like that too. That's all advertising and marketing, and that there's ploys to that, So they're just working it, But it is a way to say something without having to say it, because everyone now knows it that Marc-Andre Fleury feels stabbed in the back, but he's not going to let that get in the way because he's a good guy, because he told his agent to take it down, so it makes him look really good. So hey. Using the noodle right there. That's like a Bobby the Brain Heenan kind of move right there.
Although, you know what though, I'm gonna venture on the side of Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't know if he's the type of personality that would support that type of post.
Yeah, he's a
you know,
class
it's just
act.
he
He's
is
a
a real
class
class act, and that's kind of like a real heavy picture right there.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's I can't see him. I could see maybe the agent being very vague, like, listen, I'm gonna make a post, you know, and not tell him what it is. And then all of a sudden that's it, and it becomes too much. But I don't know if that was a pre-planned thing with him. It just doesn't seem. He seems like he's too classy of an individual to kind of pull that one off.
Yeah, but agents
But
are
it
scumbags.
shows-
So
Yeah, but-
No. I understand the agents are scumbags.
and
But
he
it
can
really
just been
shows-
like, "Hey, I'm gonna put something up that'll do over there," and then you see like the Braveheart sword through the back, and he's like, "Whoa, dude, whoa, take that down,
Yeah.
take that down," you know. So
that
but whatever.
that I could see the conversation being, but yeah, that
he'll be in
that
Seattle.
was your.
He'll be in Seattle next year.
I don't think so. I don't think they'll let the name of the franchise or the face of the franchise go like that. You know.
Well, this is a pretty big bridge to rebuild right here. I feel like, don't
Well,
you think?
you know it. I think it can be rebuilt. I want to say that they're, it's probably more on Pete DeBoer. I mean, we know what it's like with Pete DeBoer as our coach.
Mhm.
Also, though, if in the practice sessions that we're not seeing, Robert Leonard is the better goal, or Robin, I keep calling Robin Leonard is the better goalie, then you got to go with the hot goalie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much of a huge issue with it. I mean, it's tricky. He's the face of the franchise. He's a little bit older. He's kind of gone through this before, with Murray.
Yeah, his
I
2
feel
years
like,
those 2 years in Pittsburgh, it was almost the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw instances of this when, Lou went out and made the deal for Corey, immediately, him and Brodeur. It's like, Marty will always be the face of the franchise, no matter how long he was here for. And now you have someone else just kind of, it's a tricky situation right there, especially with someone as, and you're right. Fleury is a class act. He's always been a good guy. Everyone has complained about Sidney Crosby from day one. We all see that Malkin has his, even though I kind of like Malkin's little attitude, but I mean, like, you never heard really things about like Fleury, Fleury about that.
That's a good one. Yes.
So,
Sometimes the internet is a lot of fun when things like that come out. The internet
It
sure did its thing.
Came from a Twitter handle at the Vegas Flu. He said, "Fixed it."
Oh man, that's great.
But still,
That's
all
funny.
these series are still going to be incredible. I'm psyched. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Vegas and Vancouver. They're going to be flying up and down the ice. I mean, it's going to be intense, really fun hockey to watch. Really excited to see what Quinn Hughes is going to do in this round as well. Everything with that kid, man. I'm a huge fan of him. When he is on the ice, like the puck it just finds him and he gets it and he just makes plays happen. It's really, really exciting to watch him play. And man, I just hope his brother follows in those footsteps.
Yeah, so do I.
I think he will. I think he will. I mean, brothers can be competitive, and if Quinn is up in his game, I mean, yeah, we're basing it on social media, but I mean, you got to think that Jack right now is getting jacked. He's working out. He's itching to play.
Oh, yeah. So you got the puns now, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
all right, Sam.
We all got the puns. But seriously, I cannot wait to see Nico and Hughes beginning of next season. Nico being like Swiss Army Man and Jack Hughes becoming a man. He'll be 19 years old, hadn't played hockey in 9 months, ready to go crazy, has a chip on his shoulder. Like, okay, you guys tossed me around in year 1. Year 2, he's not going to be on a sophomore slump. He has something to prove, and
Well, I think
it's something to be said.
I think you made a good point there too. 19. He's only 19. He's
Yeah.
not actually a full man yet. He's going to continue to grow probably for the next 3 to 4 years. It's, he's going to get bigger and stronger.
And then in 2 years after that, he can join us at a bar somewhere.
There you go.
little post-game celebrations. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
Post-game celebrations.
Hey,
Jack Hughes.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for
We
it.
have like a little, what do you call those things? Why can't I think of it? With the 3 samples in the, for the beer. A flight. We do some flights.
Oh, a flight. Yeah, we do a flight.
Do some
Yeah, we'll
flights.
do that. We'll have to go. We'll have to go to some of the bars. Well, you got to come east first so we can do this, and then we'll go out afterwards. We'll get some flights. We'll get some beers, and we'll do some celebration drinking responsibly, of course.
So Jersey Joe writes, and there's a little plug here. Craig Button actually went right after Jack Hughes is a bus crowd on the NJ Devils Speak of the Devils podcast. Craig always makes great points. Explain, Joe. Explain. Matt Junio writes, how much time on the ice has Nico had while with the Swiss Army? Does it really matter, Matt?
Everything in Switzerland is on ice. They do all their army training on ice, actually, Matt. That's how they do it. Yeah, if you didn't know. It was all on ice with hockey sticks.
It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. All that training and leadership that he's learning in the Swiss military is going to go well beyond anything that it's going to be to his and our benefit, and I just cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah. And I'm also cannot wait when the draft happens. Some of the trades that could be made. Some of the free agency that it's going to be kind of a weird free agency period if you think about it. Now, right now we're in the second round. It was good to see a little bit of scrums. When I saw the Montreal and the Flyers, a couple cheap shots, a little shenanigans or whatever.
There's been a lot of fighting. I feel like in the playoffs, people have been grinding it out, man. It's been intense.
Yeah, and you know what? The one thing I was kind of wondering, now that the first round has passed, would it be intense without people in the stands? There was that one moment, remember, when there was that one player that got hurt. We thought at the time seriously hurt. Remember when you were texting Scotty?
Yeah.
Know who it was?
Yeah.
I forgot which game that was and which team, but I think the overall production product that the NHL has put out has been excellent, in my opinion. I mean, I've been watching Major League Baseball, I've been watching other sports, but for the most part, I guess it looks great, in my opinion. What you see on TV,
it looks fantastic.
It almost has that international feel in a way, just the way
it does. Yeah,
everything.
It does. Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of Europe a little bit. A lot of the place kind of looks like an advertising meat market in some ways, but it's done very, very tastefully. No pun intended.
Yeah. No, I think everything. The NHL has looked fantastic. I think I think MLS has looked great. I think the only thing I could say is the NBA. I wish they were in arenas because when they do their far away shots, it makes it look just more like kind of like a gym. But
Yeah,
when they're
it's-
just
they
regularly,
basically are.
when they're just, yeah, I mean, when they're just going up and down the courts, it looks good. But as soon as they pan away, you're like, oh, it's just a little gym. That's the only thing I can say about the NBA. Like, I wish they were in larger spots, like a larger arena-esque type of spot to just give it more of that feel. But other than that, when they're just going up and down regular play, it looks good because the camera's panned in. And same, you're right. The NHL, it really does feel like an international tournament. I've loved it. I've been watching, like I said, I've been watching them. I've been having the games on in the background all day long. I've been loving every single second of it. So I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little disappointed that the block of games being on from sometimes noon until 10:30 at night past that. That's why I always love round one of the playoffs every year, because you have those games. But they've done really well. I really think that the big screens that they have on the player bench side are kind of really adding to it. And I would like to know, and maybe Sam, maybe we can ask Kevin Clark this. I would like to know what they're doing as far as when they've got the game going. It sounds like they have their home announcers announcing the goals. So do they have I'm curious if they have their announcers kind of working the games as they're watching and announcing things that are coming along. It just, I don't know. It just, I would love to hear that, little bit of inside information on how they're making that work. But the screen's great. They tarped it off. It's not, you're not overloaded with ads. I think the virtual fan things that they show in like the NBA, and if you see the Mexican Soccer League, they've got it there. Those, like, the little boxes of virtual fans, I think they just look terrible. Like, I'm very glad the NHL's not doing that, because it's not always done right.
Actually, I got a focus group question, you two, because as we're building our new primetime radio studios, there will be eventual 90 to 100 inch screen TV potentially behind me. What do you feel about having like those Zoom calls, people watching in live? I mean, it is a liability issue if somebody tries to give us the bird and behind or whatever. But what are your feelings? Because I've been seeing some backdrops. I've been watching a lot of virtual events recently and trying to get ideas. It's a copycat business. You gotta know what the competition's doing. But how do you guys feel about that? I mean, we've done the Zoom call before with callers and all that, but I mean, does that really work? When you see the NFL and it's kind of cool, but do people really see themselves on TV and be like, that's me?
I think we should get cardboard cutouts for everybody, for all the listeners in the podcast. I think you guys should send in cardboard cutouts, and we'll just kind of line them up behind us everywhere. And those will be all cool. Of our background. We'll put him with Beer Baron, so he's like out there, so it looks like he's got some friends like hanging out with him, So if you guys want to do cardboard cutouts, I think that would be great, and send those in.
That would be great. That's actually not a bad idea. Idea.
And we can we can use it to help fundraise for our private jet. Which I don't think we've seen that picture in a while.
Oh, well, I just happen to have it queued up. The private jet, right? This will be our reaction when we're on the private jet, taking our fans safely all over North America to watch our team and dominate in their building with that $35 million jet. Buy some T-shirts, buy some masks, buy a lot of things from us. Yeah.
Right. Ryan Mann is claiming to have a 120-inch screen in his Devil's Man cave.
You know what?
That's
Ryan
like, you
Mann
gotta
is?
like actually look. You gotta like turn your head to like watch the puck like actually go up and down the ice. That's impressive. That's impressive, Ryan.
That's a massive screen.
You know what, Ryan? Are you one of those fans that has to be a one-upper? There are fans.
You
out
only
there.
have 90 inches. You only have 90-inch, Sam Wu. I don't want to. You know what? I can't deal with a 90-inch. I only work in 120-inch and above. Sorry.
Since we started this podcast, I'm not going to name names, but I'm not going to name names, although I would love to. There are some fans out there, some Devils fans out there, especially the one that I was talking about in our group text today, that loves to be a one-upper. And I can't stand that. That's part of the reason why we started this podcast, because we're trying to unite the fan base. But there are certain fans in the New Jersey Devils fan base that, like, if you say, hey, I just got a Scott Stevens autographed, helmet that he wore in '94, they'll be like, well, I got his entry level contract when he signed with the Blues when he was 17 years old. So screw you. Like, do you ever get those one-upper fans? And then I see, like, fans, like some of the marketplace, like auctions of memorabilia. And it's gotten to the point right now that Scotty and I have been talking about it. Like, we're thinking about just, like, buying some of this memorabilia and give it away for free. Like, it's just, and then you see other fan caves. Like, we were going to do this, but then COVID hit. But, we want to take the podcast to your fan cave, man cave, or whatever, woman cave, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we're coming over, Ryan. You better look out, son.
Yeah,
you better. And watch, and we don't clean up afterwards either. We just kind of leave when we're done. When the game's over, it's like, all right.
You know what, Ryan?
Peace.
You know what, Ryan? And then there's going to be a meme out there, and I'm going to put a sword through your 120-inch screen TV because I'm a one-upper too. I'm a two-upper. I'm going to two-up you. I'm going to have a 240-inch screen TV because I'm such a big Devils fan. So don't attack my fandom. Just kidding. Just jokes. Just jokes.
We love you, Ryan.
Yeah, seriously. No, but seriously, I would love to come over and watch hockey on that 120-inch screen. That would be impressive.
That does seem impressive.
Seriously.
Yeah, that does
seriously,
seem impressive.
That is impressive. I would love to come
That's
over and watch
be one
hockey.
of those, like, 4K rounded, edge screens and everything.
Yeah.
Woo!
Michael Hay, is that how you pronounce his name?
Oh,
Michael
boy.
Hay. I have to ask, did Milbury go over to deserve what he got? Come on, Michael. Now we have to be careful how we answer this.
Yeah, this is a tough one to answer. In the climate that we live in. So,
let's put it this way.
For a short guy.
No, I'll answer. I'll answer because I can't get fired on this podcast. I'll answer. I can't get fired. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Mike Milbury has a huge track record of dumb things he said over the years.
Yes,
he also was an employee of John Spano in his defense, so that's got to suck. John Spano, the guy that bought the Islanders without having any money. He also took another man's shoe and tried to beat him with it back in the day when he was a player.
He tried to do the odd. What was his name from Austin Powers? Did he throw a shoe?
This is before. It's before Austin Powers that he did this.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait, that was. I'm thinking Wayne's World too. But this all had to beat him to death with his own shoes to get a brandy glass full of brown M&Ms, or else Ozzy wouldn't go on stage.
So, to answer the question, Michael, in this day and age, you should know better. I'm not going to say, hey, that was locker room talk or whatever, but you're on NBC. There are people that would just kill to be in your position to have that job. JR found out the hard way. I'm not going to make comparisons because it's all subjective. All right. But when I see respectable No, not respectable. When I see respected female reporters who I read their articles and commentators start tweet out, about this, I'm kind of like, you should have known better. You should have known better. I mean, you're on NBC. I mean, even this podcast, even though I can't really get fired, I make sure, not so much I don't offend anybody, but I make sure that anything we say, we try to be as inclusive as possible to try to grow the game. That doesn't really grow the game, especially in today's climate. So that's all I have to say. I'm not saying right or wrong, but you asked the question, Michael. So now we had to answer it. And I was also buying time for Shorts Guy and Scotty to give a right answer because they can be fired.
Yeah. I think you kind of like hit it. I mean, he should have just, yeah, it's a different age, Mike. And, everyone, it's just not good. You should have, it's very easily just to say, like, their families aren't there. Why couldn't you just say, like, their families weren't there to distract them? That's just a little bit more, than just like women, and also there are, a lot of women reporters and, women officials and trainers and stuff like that. So, I mean, it wasn't good, and there was just other ways to say it.
And NHL executives. It reminded me, I think Mike Milbury is stuck in the 70s, and I think that's the big problem. Because it reminded me that scene in Rocky. Remember Rocky, or Rocky 2, when Adrian was dating Rocky, and then Mickey was having a fit about it, and he's like, women weakens the knees, or something like that, or something, whatever. And he would just ban women.
Truck.
Yeah, exactly. It just reminded me of just like 40 or 50 years ago. So I think Mike Milbury is still stuck in the 70s, like a dinosaur, and
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's where he's from, and that's what he's used to, and it's just the times have changed, and times have changed for the better on those things, and I don't believe that he meant any harm, but it's like ignorance is not an excuse, you gotta like think it through, dude. Like, think it through, like, oh, I just meant it like this. Yeah, but like, how does everyone else take it? You're not the only one. When you're saying this on a national broadcast, it's going out to be interpreted by a lot of people. Error on the side of caution right now, and I just think there was an easier way to say something like that without, a different way to say it that's not as, offensive.
Yeah, you guys pretty much nailed it all on the head. He should have been smarter with it, but his it's like you said, in 2020 you really can't say that. You can't be making those comments, and it's just you guys said it all. I don't really have much more to add to it other than I agree with what the two of you guys said about it.
Like, from a broadcasting standpoint, like, Doc Emmerich is the gold standard of how to present yourself. Like, if Mike Milbury had half a Doc Emmerich, and made an effort, this would have never happened. Like, concentrate on the game. Like what are you thinking when you're doing the game? Like, that's the last thing I would say. It's almost it's like
it's Milbury. It's Milbury.
Yeah.
Like you said, we could go through all of his goofs, like, over his career as a player, as a GM, as a broadcaster. There's been a lot. There's been a lot. It's amazing how he keeps getting rehired. Actually, that's the amazing thing. So he's got to be a charmer in those interviews.
Yeah, I know.
And he will get rehired again. And I guarantee he gets rehired again after all this.
No, this is what I'm predicting. He's going to follow the Don Cherry route. He's going to start his own podcast and make it big.
Yeah.
You never know.
Hey, Gary just said it does not add anything to the broadcast, so why say it? I mean, there you go. That's
Yeah.
it hits the nail on the head right there. Like there's no need. There was no need for it. It really wasn't, And I don't like things that bring a negative light like that to our game. I am a believer that the NHL, after the ESPN contract debacle, they went out of their way to try to kind of like bury hockey, and I feel like ESPN kind of succeeded in that because, viewership went down. So anytime I see like an unnecessary, stain on the league, I always just like, man, what are you doing? So that's just my perspective on things.
Well, that guy Tom Brenneman, the Reds broadcaster.
Lordy.
I mean, that was that was bad. That was
was bad.
What do you think? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like when we do this podcast, it should be assumed that your mics are hot. Everything's being recorded, even if it may not be. I may have your mic muted, but you should still, assume that it's hot. That it's on. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, that Tom Brenneman thing. It was just like, again, you should know better. You should know better not to say. And on top of that, like
he's like, what? That's a slur? I didn't know that. That's a slur, really? Jesus.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, that was his excuse. That was his apology. He's like, I didn't realize that was a slur. I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, come on.
You know what? If God forbid, if that ever happened to me, I would get right in front of it and be like, that was a slur. I'm stupid. I'm an idiot. And I'm going to make some changes in my life and get these words out, something like get out in front and just admit it and suspend yourself for 2 years till you figure it out.
You're going to suspend yourself for 2 years? Okay.
Yeah. Suspending yourself,
They did actually, and Ray just made a good point. The NBC did pull Milbury out of the game. Or no. That was, what's his name? Brenneman. They pulled him out while there was a home run being hit. So he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm about to leave. Hey, there's a deep drive to right field. It's going. Oh, it's gone. So I'll be leaving the broadcast now, and I apologize for using that slur that I didn't realize was a slur. See you later. It was an interesting thing.
Yeah. It's you whenever you're in front of a mic like this, no matter what you're doing, you got to be smart. And 2 instances recently that people weren't smart, and that's what happens. Especially in this time and age where everything is so instantaneous, and that clip you can, on any television, no matter what you're watching it on, you can rewind it, you can grab that clip, you can post it out on social media, and within less than 5 minutes of something being done, it's out there for all to see. So. It's one of those things you definitely always got to be careful of.
Scotty, I should also. This question is directed towards you, but also, Short Sky, you can answer. Before I go on any podcast, I worry about that something will slip of the tongue, or something like that. And I know, Scotty, you professionally, that could be the end of your career. That's serious. If you say something really derogatory or something bad.
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to people.
And
go
it's
out
like,
and run a rant, and then the company is just like, "Hey, don't ever do that again, or you're fired." And then sometimes they do, and they're fired, and sometimes they don't.
And this is how I handle it. I've got our group text event, right? But when it comes to social media, because I do the social media for our podcast, and the other guy. And I treat it like a gun. Whether you're on air or on social media, you got to handle it with care, because it's not that I'm going out in fear. Oh, I hope I don't offend somebody or whatever. It's just, if it's not used correctly, or there's always an accidental thing that may happen, it could have some real consequences. So before every podcast, I don't know if you guys do that, I always remind myself, treat it like a gun, because it could really hurt somebody without.
Did you go to the?
What's that?
Did you go to the Lou Lamoriello school of social media right there? Like, nobody on social media. Nobody.
No. I mean, I learned that a while ago because I said something stupid like years ago on social media, and I got berated, and that's the lesson that I learned. You gotta be careful, because words, and it was actually a misunderstanding because it was a play on words. I meant something, but I didn't really think it through when you write it, and then people thought it was something else, and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't anything like Tom Brenneman or Mike Milbury, but but it could be construed that way. But it's your responsibility to make sure that it's concisely put out on social media. I mean, we're all human here, right? I mean, we all make mistakes. I mean, I see misspellings in Beer Baron's tweets sometimes when he tweets.
Oh, that's probably natural. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our buddy Ray is asking us if we can talk some Devils hockey. Man, I would love to, except they haven't played in I don't know how long now.
We're stretching.
We're just stretching. Well, I mean,
we're stretching.
Tell you the truth. Last week I proposed the idea about a trade to Toronto, and I know some people liked that idea, some people didn't like it. So what I did is I actually started looking through other team space, because that was my whole goal. I picked Toronto because they are in some serious cap trouble. They have to make a move. We have enough cap space. They have players signed long term that don't have no trade clauses, and they are young. So that was what I went through. So I started looking at some other teams that have cap space, but really, I got to be honest with you, Toronto still looks like a good team to have a trade with. Arizona is in terrible cap trouble. However, who from Arizona excites you?
None of their decent players are in cap trouble, but they don't have they don't have the UFAs that they have to sign like Toronto will. So that's where I feel like Arizona is very up to the ceiling, if not at the ceiling, but they don't have anything impending that they're going to have to shell money out for in this current offseason. A lot of their players are locked up, and it's, they're not going to really, there's not going to be much to lose there. So it's really, because I saw that too when we were talking last weekend, and I was going to bring it up, but then I started looking at their UFAs and RFAs, and I'm like, it's really, everyone, in a year or 2-3 years down the line, they're going to be in some trouble unless they get some space up and off of their, their payroll. But they're really kind of in as long as they don't run into something where they need to bring someone in and they have no space, then they could be screwed. But as it stands right now, looking at what they have and what they have to sign or don't sign, they're not in. They're tight, and I'm sure you don't want to be that uncomfortably tight to the cap, but that's just
I got a trade proposal. I got a trade proposal.
All right.
Gary's asking, what do you guys think about Johnny Hockey coming to New Jersey? Even the Flyer fans are even asking that question, like, who would you trade? Because if Calgary is going to try to move, some cap space to get Hall or whatever, it would probably require.
Calgary's got a ton of cap space, though. They have like 16 million in cap space. Like, they don't need to make a trade. Like, that's why I know everyone wants Johnny Hockey to come, but Calgary, it will be fine. They have a ton of cap space.
If they go after Taylor Hall, that could be 10 million. potentially.
I don't think Taylor Hall is getting 10 million on the free market after this
Canadian.
season. Like he didn't.
No,
He did not put up.
He did nothing.
He did not.
Canadian.
He did nothing.
Canadian.
Not even in Canadian. He's not even getting 10 million
be-
Canadian.
He can maybe try to get 7. You know, like 8. That's tops, I would think. Like no way he's getting 10 million.
Yeah.
I feel like he like the 6 or 7. You know, maybe like a 7, 7.5 if he's got a good age. He didn't do anything really this year.
And
Arizona, you know, whatever. They can say they won a playoff round. It was the round robin 5-game series. They got smoked as soon as they went into the real playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the bottom line.
And
Taylor Hall still has not won a playoff series, and he's had one amazing year with the Devils, and then he got hurt after that. And, you know, I don't know. I don't see 10 million a year for Taylor Hall.
No, and I don't either. He didn't show up, especially in those last 2 games of the series, losing both of those games. Was it 7-1 in both of those games? Like it just it was absurd. It was absurd. Like he did not show up offensively at all.
Did you see Tockett's press conference? He
was it
literally
good?
said there. Well, I mean, it wasn't Torts-esque, but he literally said, "I can tell there are guys who want to be here, and there are guys who just want to leave this bubble." That's what he said.
Yeah.
But before they got after what was it? The game 3. I guess it was game 3 loss. He basically said that, and then they came back and they got smoked again. Like he basically said that half the team just didn't want to be there. Like I don't know. But 10 million? Nah, no way, dude. Not for Taylor Hall.
No,
so
there's
and like
no
I said,
way.
Calgary's got a lot of space. Here are the teams that have cap space troubles. Arizona is number 1 with cap space. They have like 0. Anaheim, but all the Anaheim guys, I was looking at it, you know, like Adam Henrique. You want Henrique back at like $5.5 million a season at 30 years old? Anaheim is an older team. They don't really have anyone that, you know, and they all their team has like no trade, no movement clauses. So I just, you know, I crossed them off. St. Louis, they have some cap trouble. They only have about $3 million space, and they got to figure out if they're gonna let Pietrangelo walk or if they're gonna try and re-sign him. If they want to re-sign him, they got to make some other moves. So that might be an area. Columbus and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay only has about $5 million of cap space next year. You know, you could say a hope and a prayer for, you know, someone, but I don't know if you're really going to make a move. I really feel like Toronto might be the way to go in that, because we'd be in that power play. I mean, Short Sky, how many times did we talk about it when we were originally talking about Taylor Hall trade, how we want to be in the power seat? We don't want other teams dictating the terms. We want to be the ones dictating the terms. With Toronto, I know they're saying, "Oh, we're going to get creative," but they're running out of options. If they want to sign some defense, they're running out of options. They're going to have to move one of those dudes, and that's just the bottom line. Now, Ottawa could sweep in there because Ottawa's got a ton of cap space as well, and obviously they have 2 really high picks. You know, they could probably trade one of those, the 5th pick, you know, and probably be a lot more enticing for a Marner or an Nylander. So we have to see, and they have the cap space to take them on.
You know, again, though, we have to make sure that we're not just going to get one player. We need to make sure we're getting other pieces, because if we want to have success, we're going to need more than one player, and we're going to want to have players that are going to want to come here and also be happy here. Yeah, if they come here via trade, they don't really have a lot of choice, but you want them to be happy and you want them to stay. So they've got to make secondary moves on top of the primary move as well.
Right. And I see our man Ray is hitting me up about St. Louis Tarasenko. Tarasenko has a full no trade, no movement clause. But you know who doesn't on St. Louis? Ryan O'Reilly.
That's a good one.
$7.5 million. But I don't know. I don't think St. Louis. I don't know. I think they might let Pietrangelo walk. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that'll be the case.
Either way, tune into the Let's Go Devils podcast when that free agency all opens up, because we'll be covering it with Breaking News Podcast should anything happen.
So what'd
And
you
I hear
guys
the music
learn
playing.
on this podcast? What'd you guys learn on this podcast?
I
learned
learned that
something.
Sam Wu went to the Lou Lamoriello School of Social Media. That's what I learned.
What'd you learn, Short Sky?
I learned that both Scotty and I and Beer Baron are expendable, and you can't get fired. So,
And you know what? For everybody out there who's not a professional, if you could hear yourself in the headphones, that means your mic is on. So don't do a Tom Brenneman. All right, if you hear yourself in the headphones, that means your mic is on.
You know what I learned? You know what
What's
I
that?
learned?
what, Sam?
I got killed for that 10 million thing. All I was doing in my head in a split second was thinking, I'll just exaggerate like 7 or 8 million and make it 10 and round it up. And holy crap, I'm looking at the Facebook Live. You got 10 million for Taylor Hall? 10 million for Taylor Hall? Jesus. Anyway.
Hey, Facebook, I didn't agree with him. I told him no too. So did Shorts Guy. It was
Yep.
all Sam
Yep.
Wu. So direct all of that just only at Sam Wu, please. That's Sam
Yeah,
Wu.
you can send all the hate mail at sam@letsgodevils.com.
Yep.
And then I'll take a
man.
screenshot of it and
Sam,
send it to the group
Sam,
text.
Sam, you missed it. You had the perfect opportunity to have all the hate mail sent to Beer Baron.
Yeah.
Nah. Beer Baron will be
Nikki
back
would probably
next
just
week.
end up opening it anyway. Beer Baron doesn't do it. Nikki would have to open it up for him.
Nikki would
Oh,
actually
man. Well,
clap back and troll back after getting it.
well, I hear the music, so are we into our final thoughts?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll challenge everybody out there in the Facebook page. Go out there and see if you can find a better trade. I see Omar talking about. I know Ryan O'Reilly would cost a lot. So I'm just throwing names out there. That's why I thought Toronto was the best partner. Look at the cap-friendly sites. Look at the cap tracker sites, so you can see what teams actually have some space. Be smart about it. You can't just be like, "Oh, I want this player." Does it actually make some sense? So if you come up with some good trades, you come back to us next week, and maybe we'll discuss them some more if they make sense. And then other than that, happy birthday to Lane Stanley of Allison Chains and one of my good friends who's no longer with us, Staff Sergeant Andrew Labosco of the Green Berets. Miss you, buddy. And by the way, Nerd Alert, Justice League trailer. I'm one of those Snyder fans. I got goosebumps seeing the new Justice League trailer. It looks awesome. Nerd Alert. That's my last threat.
Short Sky.
I'm gonna echo Scotty a little bit. If you're gonna come up with a trade option or a trade proposal, do your research, back it up with facts. Where facts, don't just go reaching out there out of nowhere. Back it up with a fact, with some facts, have some knowledge there, and then make those good trade proposals. Other than that, that's about all from me.
My last thoughts, don't procrastinate. And I want to thank the viewers and listeners of this podcast. Podcast will be dropped on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify around midnight tonight.
There you go.
Till next time, we'll be live next Sunday. Let's go Devils.